Girls, exercise 5H, solving equations. This type actually doesn't appear in the exercise, but it's in the chapter review, so I think there's just a bit of a miss thing. But you may be asked this type of equation. All right, so sine squared theta is a half. We like to have sine theta is something. Just over here, I'm just going to play around over here. What if I've got that x squared is 25? What's x? No, plus or minus the square root of 25, which is plus or minus 5. Are you okay with that? So if I said to you x squared is 25, it's a quadratic, number one. It's got two solutions. What is 5 times 5? 25. What's negative 5 times negative 5? 25. So if I've got, so we're going to apply that same idea over here. If sine squared, if something squared is a half, then sine theta is plus or minus the square root of that, which is what? Plus or minus 1 on root 2. So if something squared is a number, that thing is plus or minus the square root of the number. We've been doing that for a long time. So if sine squared theta is a half, then sine theta is plus or minus the square root of a half, which is plus or minus 1 on root 2. Now, which quadrants are you in? Well, when sine is positive, you're in quadrant 1 and 2, and when sine is negative, you're in 3 and 4. So yes, all 4 quadrants. So with this type, you have to do all 4 quadrants, because sine is positive or sine is negative. That covers everything. Got it? So now, so remember, step 1, what are the quadrants? Step 2 is the same. What are the acute angles? Acute angle theta. So you say sine of what is 1 on root 2? Well, is it 30, 45, or 60? 45. It's 45. Now you will have this on your formula sheet. You'll have that, and you'll have the other one. Okay? So sine of what is 1 on root 2? It's sine of 45 is 1 on root 2. Okay, so that was step 2. So step 3, remember, is to draw it and give the solutions. So in all 4 quadrants, that 45 degree is there. And we're just checking, we're going from 0 to 360. So what are my 4 solutions? I've got 4 solutions now. What are they? Go. 45. It'll be 180 minus 45, which is 135. It'll be 180 plus 45, which is, are we okay with that, girls? Do you want me to write what, I can put under here what they were. It was 45, 180 minus 45, I'll just put it in brackets. It was 180 plus, and it was 360 minus. And the last one's 315. I'm just showing underneath how you got them. Okay? Tan of theta, what do I write? Plus or minus? Root 3. Okay, which quadrants? Tan is positive and tan is negative. That covers everything. All 4 quadrants. That's step 1. What's step 2? Acute angle theta. You must write acute angle theta because it is the acute angle. Tan of what is 60? Sorry, tan of what is root 3? Tan of 60 is root 3. And so my solutions are, and you just draw your little diagram if needed. And off you go. 60, we've got 120, which is 180 minus, right? We've got 180 plus, which is quadrant 3, and we've got 360 minus, which is quadrant 4. So we've got 60 degrees, 120 degrees, 240 degrees, and 300 degrees. Actually, wait, I'm going to combination of the double angle thing, the 2 theta, and the squared. So get rid of the squared first. So cos of 2 theta is plus or minus the square root of 3/4. So cos of 2 theta is plus or minus what? What's the square root of 3 on 2? Good. So just treat, remember what we were doing last lesson. You just treat that 2 theta as a single thing. Don't worry about it. And we fix it up just on the last line. But what do I need to do over here? Because I'm working in 2 theta, and this is only the domain for theta. I need to times all these by 2. and I get negative 360 less than or equal to 2 theta. Yeah, less than or equal to 360 degrees. In other words, I've got to go twice around the circle, once in the positive direction and once in the negative direction. Okay, so what's my next step? Isn't my acute angle my next step? No, my quadrants. We know they're all 4. I'll just put it here. All 4 quadrants, because it's plus or minus. That was step 1. Acute angle 2 theta. Cos of what is root 3 on 2? See, girls, if you just learn that sine 30 is a half, that means that cos 60, sine 60 is root 3 on 2. And isn't sine 60 the same as cos 30? 60, 30, complementary. So what's, if sine 30 is a half, then cos 30 is root 3 on 2. It's the other one on 2. Okay? So what is, we got 30. All right, remember we've got all 4 quadrants because of the plus or minus. Now, we'll just draw a diagram, and remember you've got to go in the positive direction and the negative direction. So 2 theta is, what are my positive ones? 30, 150, 210, 330. They're my positives, and my negative ones are going the other way. The other, what do you call it, but negative 30. Come on. Negative 150. Yep. And negative. Now, the only reason they're exactly the same is, it's all right, just leave it. So that's what 2 theta is. Got it? So we just do all the same steps. You just keep it as 2 theta, and you just change this, your domain, because we're working with 2 theta, not theta. Now what do? We divide them all by 2, and you get 15, 75, 105, 165, and then the negatives are all the same. Now, girls, the negative angles aren't always the same. It just happened because it's all 4 quadrants, they will be this time. Oh, sorry, not negative 210, negative 105, and negative 165. All good? So you've got the 4 positive ones and the 4 negative ones. Instead of like 2 theta or just a theta, it's theta minus 15. So we're going to apply the same principles. Going to treat this as the blob. Tan of that is negative 1. Now, before I start, your domain is 0 less than or equal to alpha less than or equal to 360. Before I start, in place of alpha, sorry, I've sort of ruined how this looks. Instead of alpha, I've got alpha minus 15. So do you remember before I had, for example, theta and 2 theta, and I multiplied everything by 2? What do you think I do to everything here to get to alpha minus 15? So I just subtract 15 from everything. Okay? So you always write that you've got whatever they give you. They'll say solve. Solve tan of alpha minus 15 equals negative 1 for 0 less than or equal to alpha less than or equal to 360. So you say, wait, I don't have alpha. I have alpha minus 15. So you put your new domain underneath it. Now, what's 0 minus 15? It's negative 15. And 360 minus 15 is 345. Okay. Now, we're going to do it exactly the same way, but just pretend that's just a thing. Like the alpha minus 15 is just consider it just to be one thing, just like it's tan theta or something. So how would you do it if this was just tan theta is negative 1? What's step 1 again? The quadrants. What quadrants? Where is tan negative? Quadrants 2 and 4. That's what I've got so far. Good. What's my next step normally? Acute angle, alpha minus 15. So tan of what is 1? So it's not acute angle theta. Remember when we were doing the others, it was acute angle, because tan of that, I just want to know tan of what is 1. Yeah, so the alpha minus 15 is, it's acute angle alpha minus 15 is 45. Because tan of, for example, 45 will give me the 1. What do I do now? What's always step 3? Draw it. So girls, what have we done so far? We've just treated this as tan of something. All right, so we've done the quadrants the same. We've done acute angle of that thing. Tan of whatever this is 1. That's got to be 45 for the acute angle. We then draw in the quadrants. Now, we just got to be careful. This one's going to be okay. It's not going to affect your answer. All right, I should have chosen one that affects the answer. This won't. I know, I put it in the wrong ones. Thank you very much. Okay, rub that off. Good girls. 2 and 4. Oh, this is good actually. Better. Okay, sorry girls. 2 and 4. Here we go. Now girls, you're only allowed to go up to 345. So we have to go from negative 15 to 345. Negative 15 is, say, here. So that's where we go. We don't start at 0. We don't go 0 to 360. We start at negative 15. Sorry, that's not even looking like negative 15. We start at negative 15 to 345. That's how we start. Now, so let's just start naming these. What's this? Yeah, that's okay. Is 135 good? It's within those. Okay. So I've got, look, alpha minus 15. Just read off your solutions. Is 135. What's the next one if I just read around? What would it normally be? Does that fit in? Yeah, now 315 is before 345, so it's good. So, for example, you wouldn't come back and call this negative 45, would you? Because you're only allowed to go back to negative 15. I will find you one where you go back and you're not allowed to have the solution, all right? But, well, if you look here, look, what I'll do, I'll start from 0 anyway. Start from 0 and I can go all the way to 345. I've got 135 and 315. See, girls, I'm going from 0 to 345 and I'm going from 0 to negative 15. They fit in there. So this one's just normal. We're not affected by what this says, this tan of alpha minus 15. It doesn't have any, doesn't change my solution at all. All right? No, yes. All right. All right, I'm going to choose some better ones. All right, so I just do it like normal. You've got 135 and 315. Yep, they fit in there. So there's actually no difference to my answer. But that's what alpha minus 15 is. What do I do now? No. Add 15. So I add 15, see, to both of those. And what do you get? 150 and 330. So what I'm doing now is adding 15. All right? All right, so sometimes when we have this restricted domain, I'm not going to be allowed to have some of my solutions. I'm just going to see how the next two look and whether my things will be restricted. So what you've got to do, you go from 0 to 345 and see all the lines that you cross. Now, across this one and that one. And then you go back to negative 15, but there's nothing in that domain negative up to negative 15. I don't have a solution there. So it's just those two. There's only going to be two solutions, all right? I just check. No, you'll see in another one where sometimes where you can't go back, it won't let you have that solution. I'll try and pick one where that happens. But look, I have to just make sure I cover from 0 to 345, and I did. I got those two in that. And then I go from 0 to negative 15, but there's no solution there. Do you see? Like if I've got 45 here, and I have to check if I've got a solution up to negative 15, that's only up to there. And that does not, I don't reach that solution that way. Do you get it or no? All right, let's try the next one. What have we got? So we start 0 less than or equal to alpha less than or equal to 360. What have I got this time? Alpha, so before we start, fix your domain, alpha plus 30. What are you going to do to each of those? Add 30. So I got 30 and 390. You okay with that? So if alpha lies between 0 and 360, then alpha plus 30 lies between, you're adding 30 onto everything. And we're guided by what's happening to the alpha. So we still do everything the same. sine of what? Is it positive or negative? All right, so step one, quadrants. Sorry, I should be saying sine is positive in, forgot to write that, in quadrants 1 and 2. Good. I should have written that up there too. I should have written up here, tan is negative in, okay? But you don't have to, but that's what we were doing. Now what do I do? What do I write? Acute angle what? Is it alpha or alpha plus 30? Yeah, because I'm saying sine of what is 1 on root 2? What is it? 45 degrees. So my solution, step 3, my solutions are, I have a quick drawing, 45, 45. This one's not going to be a problem as well. Alpha plus 30 is. So I start from 30 degrees. Well, it doesn't matter. Look, 45. Does that fit in? Is 45 allowed? Yeah. So I've just got 45 and what's my second one? Yep. It's fine. No change. I'm going to do one where we're going to sit on the border to show you. So now what do I do? Yeah, so I have to go all the way to 390. Look, I've got 45, 135. I've got to keep coming around. So girls, once I've done a full circle, I've got to keep coming another 30 degrees and I don't hit a solution. Okay, so you've got to subtract 30. So that gives you 15 and 120. Let's see if the next one. Yeah, very good. 105. Okay. Different. So for 0 less than or equal to alpha less than or equal to 360, the first thing I want to do is fix up my domain. Always fix your domain up first. I'm going to add 75 to each of these, and what do we get? 75, 360 and 75. Is that 435? Okay. Now, cos is step 1. Cos is positive in quadrants. Good. Quadrants 1 and 4. Step 2. Acute angle alpha plus 75. So, cos of what is a half? Cos of what? Yeah, well, sine of 30. If you just remember sine of 30 is a half, then cos of 60 is a half. So we've got 60 degrees sitting in quadrants 1 and 4. Now be careful. What we're going to do is, now we need to list our solutions. Now I'm going to stop. So here I go. You know, I'm not supposed to start I'm supposed to start at 75 degrees. So if you start at 0, let's say you start at 0 and your first solution's 60. Does that fit between those two numbers? You're not allowed to put 60. Do you understand why? So that one's not done yet. So keep going. What's this one? 300. Good. So we've got, you're not allowed to write 60. Do you understand why? You have to have values between 75 and 435. So I've got 300 now. So I'm up to 360. I have to keep going. Do you understand? I have to keep going to 435. So you're actually not supposed to start from 0, but if you want, you can. But if you get anything before 75, you are not to write it down. Do you understand? All your solutions on this row of alpha plus 75 must lie between 75 and 435. Now, the thing is, you have to check all the way up to 435. So 60, not allowed. 300, allowed. I'm back to 360. What's the next one? 420, and that fits. Do you get it? All right. I'm going to do one more type of these. Now, so that means that alpha is, what do we do now? Subtract 75. 225 and 345. Okay, so can you see that alpha plus 75 equals 60 is not allowed because it's not in the domain? Do you see that? The first one. All right, Now, there is one more type I want to do, and it's where your solutions sit on the border. All right, we're going to do ones where our solutions sit on the border. That's the last type. Off we go. Ladies, so this is tan of alpha minus 30 equals negative 1 on root 3. Negative 1 on root 3 if you can't read that. So my first step is to fix my domain. What have I got?
Negative 30.
Alpha minus 30. So what am I really doing to the alpha? I'm subtracting 30. So I have to subtract 30 from everything. So what have I got? Negative 30 and 330. It still is a full circle, but we're not starting at 0. We've got to start. Well, we can go from 0 to 330, but we've got to come back and check negative up to negative 30. So let's do our normal steps. What's step 1? Tan is negative. In which quadrants? Quadrants 2 and 4. Step 2, acute angle alpha minus 30 is tan of what is 1 on root 3? Tan of what? Very good. Tan of 30 is 1 on root 3. Remember, the negative is just my quadrants. We draw our diagram, quadrants 2 and 4. All right. You are going to start from 0 and go all the way up to 330. We're going to start from 0 and go to 330, and then we're going to come back and check back to negative 30. Do you get it? So start from 0. Let's go. So my alpha minus 30. So remember, this goes from negative 30 to 330, meaning it goes from 0 to 330, stop, and then go from 0 to negative 30. Or you can start at negative 30 and go all the way around. Girls, isn't that what that means? If you're on a number line, negative 30, you have to go to 0 and to 330. I like to do the positive ones first and then come back to the negative ones. So start at 0, go all the way around to 330. What have you got? Your first one's definitely 150. Now, what's this one? 330. Does that get included? Yeah. Good. Okay, so we've gone from 0 to 330, but I haven't done my negative ones. Now from 0, what do? Is that allowed? Yeah. Good. So, see, the first two, the new domain did not change my answers, right? In the third example, the domain changed one of my answers. I wasn't allowed to put one of them in. And in this fourth example, I've got this solution represented twice because it's sitting on the ends of the domain. So I have to, and now this time, girls, notice this one's got 3 solutions. You're not allowed to say, oh, I've called it 330 and I'm not going to call it negative 30. You have to call it, because it's from 0 to 360, including both those, and it's from negative 30 to 330, including both of those, if it happens to be both of them. So you have to check the endpoints of the domain as well. So I'm going from 0 to 330, and I've got 2 solutions, but I have to come back and check for negative 30 as well. So there, I've got these. I've got that one and that one, but I have to come back and I have to check my negative angle, and that works, and it's in. Okay, and that one works. So now what do? I add 30 onto each. But isn't that too big? Isn't it? But that's beyond negative 30. I can't go back because I'm only allowed to have answers between negative 30 and 330. You've gone back to negative 200 or something. Do you get it? Yeah. Do you see? So girls, what I do, if you, 0 lies between those 2 numbers. So you go from 0 to 330 and you stop and you go back to negative 30. Look, what you've got to make sure is that these answers lie between the numbers negative 30 to 330, including the endpoints. And if you've got an answer, for example, that was negative 150, that's not allowed. That's beyond, that's over here. And if I get an answer that's 360, that's not allowed either, for example. All right? So now I add 30 onto each. What do I get? And 0. And have a look. Now, look at the original domain. Goes from 0 to 360, and all these lie between the 0 and 360. All right? Now, so girls, this is another type where you've got sine theta and cos theta. And to do these, we have to remember that which ratio involves both sine theta and cos theta as one trig ratio. So remember that tan theta is sine theta on cos theta. So if we remember that tan theta, this is what these types use. So if you see sine theta plus cos theta is 0, or sine theta equals cos theta, or sine theta minus cos theta is 0, you'll use this, what we're about to use. So what I'm going to do, I don't want to leave, I'm going to take the cos theta to the other side. So I'm rearranging, sine theta equals cos theta. Now I'm going to divide everything, divide both sides by cos theta. So this is the way you do these. Whenever you've got sine theta equals cos theta, what you do is divide both sides. You know, like in algebra, you can do the same thing to both sides if you're solving an equation. So I'm doing the same thing to both sides. I'm dividing both sides by cos theta. So what I'm doing is I'm rearranging first, and then I'm going to divide through, or divide both sides by cos theta. Now, what do you get if you do that? What's sine theta on cos theta? So, whenever you see sine theta and cos theta, because you know that sine theta divided by cos theta is tan theta, see, I can't solve this while I've got sine and cos. Everything we've been doing is sine theta equals this, cos theta equals that, tan theta equals this. I've got sine theta and cos theta. I need to make one ratio, not have the two. Okay? So I put it in the format, I make sure the cos is on the other side, and now, because I know that sine divided by cos is tan, if I do the same thing to both sides, I get tan. Now tan is a combination of sine and cos. Now what's cos on cos? And that's what we're solving. So that's, now we just keep going. So what have we got? Quadrants. So what do we say? Tan theta is positive in quadrants 1 and 3. Then you've got your acute angle theta, and then you've got your solutions. So that's the only difference. So what, tan of what, girls? 45 in 1 and 3. Oh, sorry, and the domain is 0 to 360. There you go, 0 to 360. And what are my solutions? 45 and 180 plus. Now, next one. The cos theta is already on the other side. So we're dividing both sides by, so write it out again and divide both sides by cos theta. And what do you get? Is, that's right, because the cos thetas cancel. And now that is something that you know how to solve. Again, our domain is 0 to 360 for all these ones. Oh, so off you go, step 1, 2, and 3. For acute angle 60, and your solutions are 120 and 300. Here's the last one. This one. Cos theta is root 3 sine theta. Now, when you divide through by cos, you're still going to have, all right, let's divide through by cos. And what are you going to get? Is what? That's right. You want to divide through by something else while you're here? You're going to get 1 equals root 3 tan, and that's fine. 1 equals root 3 tan theta. Now divide by. So what we should have done is divide by root 3 cos theta, but it's okay, don't worry. So now I just divide by root 3. You okay with that? So next time you might want to divide by root 3 cos theta. So I get 1 on root 3 is tan theta. Are we okay with that? And now you know which quadrants you're in. What's your acute angle? So girls, are we okay with that? Because when you divide through by cos, you get 1 equals root 3 tan theta, so you need to rearrange. So, and you can see when you're doing it here, if we divide by root 3 cos, but it's fine. This way's fine. What's your acute angle? Tan of what? 30. And quadrants 1 and 3, we've got, our solutions are 30 and 210. Very good.